Are we obsessed or are we obsessed? And even better, the fact that I'm wearing this today because Lucia just dropped the discreet covers, like the preview of them all on her Instagram. Stunning, stunning. They still don't top the original covers. The original covers are just some of my favorite people covers of all time. I just think they're absolutely beautiful, and I've never seen two people fit book people as well as those cover models do. However, I love when a discreet cover matches the series and it's not just like random colors or like random flowers, you know, like it fits the series, and I'm so excited. I will be purchasing because I need Rhea and Kova in as many iterations in my life as possible. But with that aside, I have my 5-star predictions here today. So here are just some books that I am predicting will be 5 stars. Actually, quite a few of these books I've put off for a long time. I don't know, does anyone else do that? Like when they feel like they're really gonna love a book, they almost like put it off longer. I feel like some of these I've definitely done that with. So I have, I don't know, maybe about like 10, 15-ish books that are 5-star predictions for me. I have really high hopes diving into them, and yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So these are in no particular order either. They're just how I thought of them. So first up, my first 5-star prediction is That Sick Love by Jessie Hall. So I have not read anything by this author, which you might be like, then why are you giving a 5-star prediction? Here's the thing. It kind of has all of the elements that I love in a dark romance. It has a really obsessive hero, and I think maybe is he like even stalker-ish tendencies. It has cults. The heroine is like involved in the cult, and I think she's even involved in like leadership, and the hero is trying to like break her out of that. I've heard, you know, there's a lot of fun spicy times in it, and I just love a dark romance, and people who have similar reading taste to me have really been loving this. Like Cheyenne really loved this one, and her and I typically have pretty similar tastes. Like if she likes something, I have a good chance of liking it. So I think that this is going to be a good one. This is also the Out of Bounds book club pick for this month. So if this is one that you've also been eyeing up, pick it up this month so that way you can join us for our live show to chat about it. I'm really excited to get into this one and just really sink my teeth into a really dark, gritty romance book that I feel like I haven't done that in a while. Next up is one that I put on my list every single fall to read, and that is Gothic by Runix. So I still have not read this book, but I've literally wanted to read it since it released. I don't know why I keep putting it off. I've also never read anything by Runix before. I do really want to also read their Darkverse series. Like my eye has been on that one for a while as well. However, this one is a student teacher in like Gothic kind of, Gothicana, but like Gothic kind of academic setting. And y'all just know how much I love student teacher. I haven't really met a student teacher book that I like don't like, right? I don't think I've ever like hated a student teacher book because that's just like my favorite trope. And throw in like dark academia Gothic vibes, like I'm sold. The only thing on this one that I am a little nervous about is that it's told in third person, and I don't struggle with third person in fantasy books, but I do sometimes in romance. But I feel like this one also has enough of like, it's not just like straight romance. I think it also has like some other like mysterious little like plot things going on in it. So I have high hopes for this one. I really think I'm gonna love it. I've heard so many amazing things about it, and once again, it's going to go on my TBR this fall, and we will see if this is the fall that I finally read this book. Next up is Tangled Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. So this is the 4th book in the Like Us series, which is the spin-off series, the next generation from the Addicted/Calloway Sisters series. So it's all of their children and their bodyguards. And this one specifically, so I'm currently reading the 2nd book. I loved the 1st book. I'm really, really enjoying the 2nd book. Like so far, I'm just very much loving this series. I loved the Addicted series. Like Kiss the Sky was my favorite book of last year. And this in particular, this 4th book here is Jane's book, and Jane is Connor and Rose's daughter, and Connor and Rose are my favorite couple. Already the glimpses that we've gotten of Jane in Mafi's books, the first 2 books at least I'm reading so far, they have the first 3, but I haven't read the 3rd one yet. But the glimpses that we've gotten of Jane, I'm already so excited. Also her bodyguard Thatcher, we've been getting more of like his involvement too, like we've been seeing more of him, and he just seems like kind of like a big asshole, and I'm very excited for that, obviously. And I just really think that this one is going to hit the spot for me. Jane has like that sense of Rose and Connor, but she's also like very much an individual. So I'm just really looking forward to getting to like really dive into her character and into her mindset. And I just think Thatcher is going to also be an interesting dude to get to know more like in depth, because so far what we've seen of him, like Mafia and Pharaoh don't really like him that much, so obviously seeing him through their POV is not like necessarily the most positive, so I'm interested to see like from his POV what he's all about, you know? Out of the entire Like Us series, this has been the couple that I've been most anticipating before I even started the series, just because I want anything to do with Rose and Connor and their heritage or their parentage, lineage, family, what have you. Next up is the second book in a series, however, it is like a standalone, and that is Was I Ever Real by Naomi Loud. So I read Was I Ever Here by this author last month. It was our Out of Bounds book club pick from last month, and that book like blew me away. It was the author's debut, and I thought that the writing was smart, the characters were good, the relationship development was great. My only thing that didn't make it a full 5 stars was that I was missing just like a little bit more plot to it. So I'm really anticipating the second book. I mean, it's already out, I just haven't picked it up yet, but it's following 2 characters that we already met in the first book, which is already kind of like a good sign. But with this one, our heroine, so in the first book, she's like the best friend, and she's very much like positive and upbeat and like trying to like get her friend out of her comfort zone and everything. And then we learned in the blurb here that she was actually in a cult and she's like escaped from that, and then I think she murdered her father or something. So knowing that information after reading what this character was like, it's just like a total like I'm just very excited to see how that plays out. And then also the hero is someone who's involved in some organized crime, and like they maybe don't like each other anymore. So I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to this book, and I really think it's going to be a knockout of the park for me, because if it delivers on the same style of writing, the same character development, and the same relationship development, but then adds in more plot, which I'm thinking that we might get with like the cult and stuff, then this could be a full 5 stars for me, because that was really the only thing holding back the first one for me. So very excited to read this and very excited about this author. Okay, this is series as a whole is a 5-star prediction for me. However, I just wanted to pull and like specifically highlight one book, and that's The Bully by Sophie Lark. However, I do think the Kingmaker series as a whole for me is a 5-star prediction, because I have been loving Sophie Lark's writing. So I've loved the entire Brutal Birthright series, loved Ivan, and now I just have to read Snow before I can jump into Kingmakers. So I have really tried to stay like spoiler free on anything, so I don't really know that much about this. I know it's like Hogwarts meets Mafia Academy, and it's like where mafia people send their kids off to this academy. So I know the first, I can't remember whose son is the first book. Honestly, I don't really even know whose kids are like a lot of the books, except I do know this third guy. I now know who his parents are. Yikes. I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out, and specifically The Bully, just because everyone loves this one so much and loves Dean so much and loves his redemption arc, and I love a good redemption arc. Like I'm thinking like Damon from the Devil's Night series, like one of my favorite character arcs over the course of the series like ever that I've read. So I'm really hoping that this will deliver similarly. And then also I think the 5th book is the other one that I'm looking most forward to, The Savage, because that one is Nero and Camille's daughter, and I just love Nero and Camille so much. So I'm very excited to get to Kingmakers. As I'm just sitting here, this is making me want to just like drop everything. But I have like read-alongs and book clubs to read for, but I really just want to jump back in to Sophie Lark's worlds. Okay, next up is a new release that's coming out at the end of the month here, but it's a 5-star prediction for me, and that is King of Pride by Anna Huang. So this one is the second book in her Kings of Sin series, I think, because it's like the 7 deadly sins. So this one specifically, honestly, like I kind of like vaguely remember the characters. They made an appearance in King of Wrath, which is the first book. So like I guess I'm excited for them. Mostly the reason is Anna Huang has yet to write like a miss for me. Every single one of the Twisted books was 5 stars. I absolutely love that series as a whole. Every single book individually, just across the board, all hits for me, which is rare. I don't think I really have many series that I've liked every single book, especially when they're all following different couples. However, that one for me just knocked it out of the park. And King of Wrath, I really enjoyed. I gave it 5 stars. It was more like a 4.5 rounded up. I do think that it was just like a little hard to go from the Twisted series and then like start this brand new series. But now that we kind of have that groundwork laid, I feel like King of Pride is going to be really fun and like just allowing for more of like, all of the groundwork is kind of out of the way. Now you're just in this world and have fun with it. So I'm predicting that this is a 5-star. Like I said, Anna Huang doesn't really miss for me. So pretty much anything that she writes, I'm going to automatically be interested in, and I'm automatically preparing for it to be a 5-star. Next up, I have The Penalty Box by Odette Stone. So this is the third book in the Vancouver Wolves series. So the first two, Puck Me Secretly and Home Game, both 5 stars, both obsessed, love both of them. So that's why I think I'm really gonna enjoy book 3. So this one, and it's different. So this one, I think she's an assistant to, she's a personal assistant at the sports agency, the heroine is, and then the hero is a hockey player, obviously, and I love hockey, but also I think he has like some mafia ties, right? But here's the thing, Odette Stone's writing, just like as soon as I start a book, I'm just like fully like enamored with the world, and they're just so addictive. Like Puck Me Secretly, I remember I was on vacation when I was reading that one and I literally couldn't put it down. Like I was by the pool and I'm like, I can't go swimming until I finish this book. And same with Home Game, as soon as I started it, I like stayed up late one night reading it. Like I couldn't put it down. So I'm just feeling like I'm probably gonna get the same vibes from The Penalty Box. And I think there's a 4th book as well. I don't have that one yet, but I think that this is really going to be a hit for me. So next up is kind of like an author that I feel like is kind of a 5-star prediction for me. I have a ton of her books on my TBR. I want to read a lot of them, but specifically this one is like the one that's kind of calling my name right now, and that's My Life in Shambles by Karina Halley. So there are so many books by Karina Halley that I think sound really good, but this one in particular, I know so many of my friends love, and it's like about a woman who I don't know why she ends up in like Scotland or Ireland or something, and she meets a rugby player, right? And I think like her entire life is kind of turned upside down, and then when she's there, she starts like finding purpose again. Honestly, it sounds like I've never even heard of this book. I swear I have. I just like can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyways, I've had this on multiple TBRs. I've had multiple Karina Halley books across my TBRs, and I will read something from her very soon because obviously she's going to be at Book Bonanza in June, and I will be reading something of hers before then because I do really think I'm going to enjoy it. I also want to read like The Forbidden Man, River of Shadows. I want to read Blood Orange, like so many of her books, but this one in particular, I feel like it's going to be a home run for me. I don't know why, I can just feel it. Next up is a thick boy. A thick one, and I think that's why I keep putting it off, but I also think I'm really gonna like it, and that's Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole. So this one is a marriage of convenience age gap romance. So our heroine in this one, I think she's really sick and she needs health insurance. Like she's turned 18. I don't think she has much of a home life at all, or like parents or guardians to really like take care of her, and she's kind of on her own. And then our hero somehow meets her. Like I don't know what their circumstances are in meeting, but then he has insurance. Like he's quite a bit older, is he maybe like 15 years older maybe? He has insurance, so he's like, I'll marry you so that way you can like get your health care, but like I'm not expecting anything in return. But obviously we all know how that goes, and they end up falling in love. So I have only read one Carrie and Cole book before, and it was Torn, and I did not like it. I actually gave it 2 stars back when I read it. It just, I don't know. Y'all know how much I love an age gap and like a dad's best friend, but that one for me just like didn't work. But I know so many of my friends love other books of hers, and some of them even who didn't like Torn love other books. So that's why I feel like I have a good feeling about this one. Again, there are multiple other of her books that I want to read, but this one in particular I feel like has been on my list the longest, and it's definitely like, I do really think I'm gonna love it, and like that friends to lovers kind of like slow burn energy, I think I'm really gonna enjoy it once I pick it up and give it a go. Next up is another book in a series, and that is Her Soul for Revenge by Harley LaRue. So this is the second book in the Souls trilogy. So I read Her Soul to Take back in 2021. It made my top 10 list. I loved Her Soul to Take. So much fun, paranormal, demon romance. And this one is set in that same world, and we've already met the characters, and now I can't really even remember honestly who the heroine is, but I know the hero is a fellow demon that was like one of Leon's friends. So, and Leon was the demon from the first book. So honestly, I don't really know. I couldn't even tell you who the heroine is. Oh, so a cult tried to sacrifice her to their wicked god, and then Zane finds her and he wants her for himself. I don't know, just because I had such amazing luck with the first book, and I have really good luck with Harley LaRue's books. Like I loved The Dare. I haven't read Losers Part 2. I read Losers Part 1 and I really enjoyed that one. So I just have a feeling this is going to be a hit for me. I have a feeling I'm really gonna like it. And however, I think the third book is the one that I'm like most interested in, but that one's not out yet. But I think those characters that we like got alluded to from the first book, I'm really excited for that one whenever it releases. So I'm thinking that this is gonna be a 5-star for me whenever I pick it up. So again, we'll put it on the TBR this fall. Probably won't get around to it, but at some point. And lastly is The Five by Lily White. So I had kind of forgotten about this book. It's been buried on my TBR for a while, but then Sam from Sam Reads a Little just had this in a video recently talking about romantic thrillers, and I was like, again, I was like reminded, I'm like, I want to read this book really badly, and I do think I'm really gonna love it. So it's a psychological like romance thriller, and it's by Lily White, which I read Sin and Discipline from Lily White last year and absolutely loved it. Love that book. If you love Student Teacher, you have to read that book. And if you love Dark Notes by Pam Godwin, then you really have to read that book. It was so freaking good. So I just have a really good feeling based on like the premise around this book. I think it sounds interesting. I think it sounds very different, sounds very twisted, very dark. But then also already knowing that I've had another book from Lily White that was like a hit for me, and knowing that I like her writing style, I think this is going to be a hit. So again, I did download this one on my Kindle just that way, like I remember that it's like I want to read this and it doesn't get reburied in my TBR, because I think I need to like switch it up a little bit. So far it's April. I haven't read many books. I think I've only read 5 books at this point this month, which is not a lot for me. Normally I average between like 14 to 17 books, and I'm at 4 and it's over halfway and I'm at 5 and it's over halfway through the month. But I've been busy with projects, but I haven't had a 5-star read this month either. And granted, I've only had 5 tries at that, but still, I should have more 5-star reads. Last month, I only had 1 5-star read. So I'm like, you know what? I need to start picking up these books that I think are going to be 5-star reads and not just putting them off. So anyways, I did download the 5, so that way it is a top of mind. And as soon as I get a break from some read-alongs and book clubs, then I'm going to give this one a go. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think this is probably going to end up being a shorter one, which maybe you guys needed because my videos have been pretty long lately. Y'all know I just like to chat. I like to talk with you. This is pretty much the only space I get to like talk about my books. So I enjoy rambling. Anyways, that is it for today's video. I'm going to try to have the Book Girlfriend draft up on Friday now that I have a little bit more time. So we will see. But anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.